Morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Man, what did we have? We had college football, pro football, we got NBA, right? We got college basketball. Regular season starts today. None of it matters. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the Cardinals all alone in first place. Yesterday, apparently, we didn't have the ability to look into the sky, you know, like the Native Americans before us, and just see this huge black cloud that was coming through the valley. They had the roof open at the Cardinals Stadium, and it started to hail inside the stadium. No one, I don't know how long it takes, right? You're like, oh, okay, well, no big deal. We got a roof. We can open it. We can close it. Right? We'll just close it. Yeah, it takes 35 minutes. Yeah, it was, well, you know what? It's the year of chaos. That's what happens. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com. It's almost over. It's almost over, right? Yes. I think, is everybody where I'm at? Like, you're just ready for tomorrow to get here and have it all be over. I don't, you know what's funny is, it's going to be interesting because as we know, there's a lot of people invested in this, right? They're emailing, they're texting, they're calling, they're sending out memes, and I mean, it's all-consuming, but Larry Fink, yeah, he's the head guy over at BlackRock. You know, we always say it, like, when you think about Vanguard and BlackRock, State Street, all these big companies, they own everything, really, right? And they own each other. It's really just one big company. It's crazy how this thing works. But he said it best this morning. I'm tired, he said. He's tired. I'm tired. We're all tired. But I'm tired of everybody saying this is the most important election ever. Doesn't matter. That's what he said. He said because Wall Street always wins. Of course, what did he mean by that? The billionaires always win because that's how the system's rigged for them to win. And and everybody believes, well, you know what? If my guy wins, then everything's going to be great. And if the other guy wins, everything's going to be miserable. Well, at the end of the day, just know this: the billionaires like Larry Fink, they're going to win no matter who the president is. But speaking of that, there's a couple of scenarios. The best one is before we go to bed tomorrow night, we know who the winner is. And again, right, wrong, or indifferent, that would be the best case scenario, that whether it's Donald Trump or Kamala, it doesn't matter, like, we know. The next best scenario is, okay, we don't know who the winner is, but let's just say by the weekend, right, we've got a winner. Now, that's the second, it's probably not great, right, because then you're going to have, we know. Every video you can possibly imagine of a vote is going to be circulating. The worst case scenario is they declared that one candidate won a state. Let's just say Trump wins Arizona. And then during the counting process, they come back 3 days later and say, no, Harris won Arizona, right? That would be the worst case, right? Where one of the candidates, they said they won it, and then, they recounted it, and blah, blah, and then the other candidate, oh my gosh, that would be pandemonium. As it sits, several states are calling up the National Guard, either activating the National Guard or getting the National Guard on ready. I hope that's all unnecessary. I truly do. But unfortunately, I think this is it. I mean, I think this is what happens when everybody's working so hard. Everybody is just trying to maintain their standard of living. Now, for some, let's face it, right? Some of them, their life is great, super rich. I don't care about, matter of fact, the more inflation, the richer I get. But for everybody else, right, it's hard. And you need to believe. You don't want to believe what Larry Fink said today, which is the truth. You don't want to believe that. You want to believe. You need to believe. You have to believe. If I can just get the right guy in there, it'll be a little easier for me to stay where I'm at, and heaven forbid, maybe I could even move up. And that's really been, I think, the more, when you really think about why are the elections getting more and more frustrating, why are people seemingly every election cycle getting a little more angry and a little more angry and a little more angry, and I really think it's because they're slipping. And it's both sides. Right? The left, the right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent. Right? You're like, man, just slip in here. Right? I can't afford to move. That's slipping. Right? I want to move. I'm tired of this house. It's too big. It's too small. Whatever it may be. Nope, I can't. Can't do it. I want to quit my job. I want to find a better job. I can't. I go to the grocery store and I almost cry every day. I know, right? I hate going to the grocery store anymore. Oh, man. Patriot Radio News Hour. Happy Monday, baby. We'll be back. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour here on this Monday, the day before the final day to cast your ballots tomorrow. I think like half the country's already, or half the people that are going to vote have already voted, probably more than that even. But a quick look in at the markets. The Dow's down 150 points. The S&P's up 8. The Nasdaq's up 60. By the way, NVIDIA is now going to be a member of the Dow. Intel is out. One of the ways they keep things looking better than what they are, right? They just, hey, let's just put all the best ones here and let's get the ones that aren't so good out. By the way, the 10-year note, 431, as we continue to watch here. Remember, this is a big week. We got more than just the election. Looks like we're going to get another rate cut on Thursday. So be prepared for that. And then it'll be all about what the tone. Are they going to say we're going to maybe slow down, maybe wait for that third rate cut? Or are they just going to kind of let the markets think another one's coming? It's going to be kind of interesting what happens there because there's been a lot of trauma, as we know, in the bond market. The oil's up $1.50. Gold, gold is flat right now, just kind of hanging out, waiting around. Silver, the same thing. Silver's up about 10 cents, $32.50. But I'll go back to Larry Fink. Wall Street always wins. And by Wall Street, he doesn't mean your 401ks and your IRAs, because he knows that's a lie. You know what he knows? Man, I made a lot of money when you lost half of your 401ks the last time. Made a lot of money. Look at Warren Buffett. The guy won't stop selling. Holy cow. Another major dump. He can't dump Bank of America and Apple fast enough. Got $325 billion on the sideline, and guess what? It's not enough. He wants more. Why? Because he's going to wait for the crash and then buy everything at half price. This is why I tell you, you need to be more diversified than ever before. Don't let them win. Don't let them win. Get more gold. Get more silver. I know a lot of you listen, and I know it. You did good. Hey, I climbed the ladder. I put into the 401k. Now it's an IRA now because I retired or I left that job or what have you, and I got big bucks in there. You need to take some of that, call us, get a precious metals IRA going. Then you need to call our friends over at YRefi. Take a big chunk of it and put it over there. Why? You're going to get 10.25%, up to 10.25% fixed rate of return. Fixed. What does that mean? Doesn't change. What if this and what if that? What if Kamala wins? Oh, my gosh. Nothing. Trump wins. Nothing. What if the stock market goes down 50%? Nothing. Right? See what I'm saying? Up to 10.25% fixed rate of return. You can use it as income. You can compound it. Heck, you can change your mind. Say, you know what, I'm going to compound it. But you know what? Now I want it. Now I want it as income. Maybe I want it as now I'm going to compound it. You can do it all day long. What does that cost? Nothing. There's no fees. They don't attack principal. Here's the best part. It's a great fixed rate of return, especially because you know the bubble is coming. I mean, I wish Larry Fink could speak plainly, because really what he meant to say was, it really doesn't matter who wins this next election. Me, my buddy Warren Buffett, right, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, yeah, we're all going to clean up. We're all going to clean up on that next crash. Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or just make it easy. Just call them. 888-Y-REFI-24. 888-973-3924. And Jason, like we said, we got the election. And Jason had to get some heat going. You know, when it gets real cold, you turn that heater on, and the heat doesn't come on. Yeah, you gotta get things rolling over there. But I was telling them, hey, best case scenario, we know the winner tomorrow, no matter who it is. That's the best case scenario, right? Second best case scenario is, okay, by the weekend we know who won. Which, let's face it, that's not a great, because people are going to flip out. Right, you're going to see every stinking video. Look, there's a white fan or a black fan, and they had ballots, and who knows what. The worst would be, though, declaring somebody won a state, and then a few days later saying, no, they didn't. Oh, my gosh. That'll be insanity. People will lose their minds, but that's not the only thing going on. We got the Fed meeting, right? So now, instead of Tuesday, Wednesday, they're bumping it back a day because of the election. So we'll know on Thursday. Right now, everybody is saying a rate cut. I think that's probably a given. The question will be, what will the messaging be from Jay Powell on Thursday afternoon? Then we're going to get we already got factory orders today. They were terrible. And that's not surprising. We're going to get trade numbers, ISM. But, again, Jason, I think all of it really is going to be the election and the Fed meeting. And really, I don't think anything else matters.
Yeah, well, we'll see after the election as we keep hearing of all these layoffs, all these stores closing all across the country. Maybe it'll actually people start to hear it. Instead of worrying about who's talking on the TV now, right? Maybe we'll see. Was it TGI Fridays going into bankruptcy, right? Yeah. It just doesn't stop, does it?
And again, the you know what we're seeing? We're really seeing this run on, I guess what I'll call the weaker restaurant players, right? That, hey, maybe we weren't a great operator, but we'd make a little bit of money, but with the inflation, it's just killing them, right? You're sitting there now and you're seeing it's Chipotle, right? McDonald's, right? It's the lower tiered restaurants, right? And then I would say probably the higher tier, right? The upper ends, right? The fancy places, the places where, you're expected, you're bringing your wife to dinner and you already know, hey, it's going to be $300, $400, $500, just depending on what bottle of wine we're going to get, right? Those seemingly are hanging in there. It's everybody else, right? It's everybody in the middle that seemingly is getting destroyed here. But again, I'm looking a lot at Warren Buffett because, we always talk about, hey, you got to be diversified, and you do, so you don't get hammered. But the billionaires, they're really not diversified. They're very concentrated, right? Because that's how they make big bucks, right? Because they know I've got enough money. I can just me saying I'm buying a stock, I get to make money, right? That's all it takes. Oh, my God, Warren Buffett bought something. Oh, the stock's up 10%. Well, it goes the other way. The guy only really owns like 6 companies, 7, right? He doesn't buy very many, but when he does, he buys big. But what are we seeing him do now? Because before, it would be nothing. If he liked the markets, hey, I'm going to sell Bank of America, as an example, but I'm going to go buy Citigroup, right? Or I'm selling Apple, but I'm buying NVIDIA, right? Or I'm going to buy Samsung or whatever it may be, right? That kind of stuff. I'm selling this company to buy this other company because guess what? Because I think I should make even more money with this other company. That's not what he's doing. He's flat out selling. And essentially, because, Warren Buffett doesn't put this money in the bank. Thank God he sold. He's got $325 billion, almost all of it in treasuries right now, right, waiting. And to give you an idea how big of this is happening, just at the beginning of the year, his cash holdings is almost doubled. So he started the year, with just under $170 billion. Now he's got, closing in just past $325 billion. By the way, continuing his sales, he's now sold over half of his Apple stock, in addition to trying to sell all of that B of A holding, which he keeps trying to sell. By the way, he's now down to the 3rd largest holder there. You know what's so funny? Guess who the 2nd largest holder? American Express is the 2nd largest holder of Bank of America. See the problems here, Jason, right? There's probably all these things that Buffett's like, yeah, I kind of really don't like that. And this is just an indicator. Again, it's another one of these things when we talk about, well, what should I do? Because here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that after tomorrow, people get out of this and start time to get back to real life again and start preparing. That's just another sign about, how much longer till the bubble burst. And Jason, when you look at Warren Buffett, he's in a race right now to raise as much capital as he possibly can because he's thinking to himself, listen, he's not raising this money for 2026. He's not raising it for 2027 or 2030. No. He's raising it to use it soon. And I would say by soon, I'm talking probably 2025, right, Jason? That's what he's looking to do.
I think he's going to buy all the stuff he just sold. How's that? That's what he's going to do. He's going to wait for it to crater. He's going to wait for these banks to suffer and wait for the government to spend like crazy. And then when the banks feel all healthy and fat again and they start quantitative easing in whatever form they're going to take it, hey, by the way, banks, you can print up the money yourselves. The Fed is going to trust you to print the money. You do it. Well, boy, the bank stock should do just fine when they get that power, right, Joe? I'll bet he buys Bank of America stock right back up, or whatever bank, Apple, all that stuff. I bet he just buys it right back up. It's not like the companies he's selling are going away. I mean, maybe the bank, maybe Bank of America go away, right? Maybe that's why he's selling so crazy on that one.
Yeah, I think what he'll do is he probably won't buy Bank of America, but he's going to buy some bank, right? Right? Whatever one he thinks the winner's going to be, right?
J.P. Morgan, yeah.
Right. That's the bank he'll buy, right? Because all the bank stocks are going to get hammered, but he'll buy the best one, right? And who knows? To Apple, he may turn around and buy Apple again. That wouldn't surprise me, right? That he buys it again, but he'd be like, hey, listen, I sold it at 300. I'm going to buy it at 150, right? Yeah. Now I've got twice as much Apple stock as I had the last time around.
Exactly.
So this is the difference, and this is why, there are signs, and there's plenty of them. You don't get them from the water cooler. You don't get them on CNBC or Fox, right, the cheerleading stations. But they're out there. And again, I think the reason we're looking at gold and silver right now is because as each bubble got bigger, it just goes to the bigger market, the bigger market, the bigger market. It's now in the bond market. This is where the bubble truly lies. And that's the biggest granddaddy bubble of them all. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. Today, we got a couple of nice silver specials. 5-ounce silver bars at $180 on 5-ounce silver bars. Silver rounds. You can save yourself some money. U.S. Silver Eagles, again, these premiums are getting up there. A roll of U.S. Silver Eagles at $815 a roll. Today, silver rounds, 1-ounce silver rounds. Now, what are they? Each coin's an ounce of silver, right? 3.9 fine silver. The only difference is it's not government hallmark, right? So a U.S. Silver Eagle, obviously minted by the U.S. Mint, and they give it a dollar value, right? They say a Silver Eagle, $1. Right? Of course, anybody out there wants $40 for it, but it says $1 on it, and you get 20 ounces in a roll. Silver rounds, again, like I said, there's 20 of them in a roll. Each coin's an ounce, the same specs as a government hallmark coin, but it's not made by the government. It's made by independent mints, mostly Sunshine. They tend to make the most of them. But today, you can get 20 ounces of silver rounds, $740. Right, so that's what, $75, $65, $65, $75. $75 less than Silver Eagle. So it's almost $2 an ounce less per ounce. Actually, is that right? Is my math right? Is that wrong? Almost $4. Almost $4. Gosh, it's Monday. I know my math's not so good on Monday. Almost $4 an ounce less. So if you're looking at silver, 5-ounce silver bars at $180, rolls of silver rounds at $740, at 800-951-0592. Right now, loss is starting to pick up here. Dow's down 250. The Nasdaq's gone negative, and so has the S&P. And again, I think everyone's just trying to position themselves for what's coming next. Goldman Sachs, who they've been really out on the metal trade, right? They've been really, they've had to keep upping their gold forecast. That's part of the reason why. They're saying, hey, here's how we're playing this. We're hoping that there may be a dip Monday or Tuesday, and we're going to buy the snot out of any dip in the gold and silver markets. That was their note today. And I'm oversimplifying. And they don't care who wins. Trump, Harris, doesn't matter. Gold's going higher. Matter of fact, somebody else came out and said 2,900 gold, by the end of this year, 3,100 gold in the first quarter of next year. Everybody's in that category. I would say everybody's, anywhere from, say, 2,800 to 3,000 by the end of the year. Most people that are saying where's gold going to be next year, I think 3,300 to 3,500 seems to be the median here. I think 3,100 first quarter. I think that's probably a pretty safe bet right now. And again, like I said, silver any day. Any day. And you can see we could have a week in silver where silver goes up $10 to $15 in a single week. That's coming. I just don't know when it's going to be, but it's going to be soon. But here's something interesting. Remember when Trump had an opportunity to put some people in his cabinet, and one of the people he wanted on his cabinet and what was Judy Shelton? Right? A lot of people, me being one of them, would have loved to have seen her at the Federal Reserve. Because Judy Shelton gets it. She understands what fiat money is all about. She was, for a while there, she was an economic advisor to Trump. And then they tried to, they tried to get it through the committee. And, of course, the Congress wouldn't have it, right? They wouldn't allow her to disrupt the banking system. Jason, she was out over the weekend. She did a big interview. It was over an hour long, talking about how the debts now are a national security threat, talking about wanting to see the United States. Here's the thing that I loved, and it's something I really haven't thought about. But she's thinking the United States needs to just admit and accept, okay, you screwed up. You ran these deficits, and now we're screwed. Look at what BRICS is doing. I want the United States to be the leader. If there's any kind of gold backing in a currency, Shelton is saying the most important thing, Jason, is that if that's going to happen, the United States needs to be first. That we've got to be first to do it. We cannot allow for BRICS to do it before us.
Well, the Fed is going to see if they can inflate their way out of this like World War II. That's what's going to happen. And she's right. If you're going to do a gold-backed money system, if the world's moving in that direction, then America should jump on and get it going. But this is the tale of two monetary systems, right, Joe? That this is why the BRICS have become so. They got the bravado. They're speaking loud now. I mean, the BRICS have been around a long time, right, Joe? They've been very quiet. Most people don't know what the BRICS are. Average people are starting to hear about the BRICS because they're bragging about how they think they're going to take over. Well, is she right, Joe? I don't know if she's right, but I'll tell you now, the Fed's going to try to inflate their way out of this first. They ain't going to do nothing with gold if they could try to inflate their way out. And that usually comes with some sort of a war situation or some huge, massive emergency to scare everybody back into their hole where they crawled out of, right, Joe? Because that's what they want to do. World War II is the title of a worldwide economic reset. That's what that was. 100 million people died so that they can reset the economic table. And do they have to do that this time? I don't know, Joe, but that's
right.
Debt to GDP, she's right. It seems unconquerable, but we were here before, weren't we? Now, it doesn't seem like the numbers display that this can happen again. We can't do what we did during World War II, but isn't money just an idea? Can't they just alter things and change the rules? We talked last week about breaking the rules all the time. Let's see if they want their false system to crawl a little further. Let's just see if it happens. And if they inflate their way out of this, you, the average guy listening, you're going to have nothing. You are absolutely going to have nothing. They're going to take it all. When you have to do whatever you can to pay the bills and buy food, you'll end up selling everything else off just to survive. And that's what these big rich guys are doing. They're not surviving, Joe, are they? They're flourishing.
When we get back, so one thing, Shelton, she grew up under Volcker and Greenspan. She made some very interesting comments about what these two men believe when it comes to gold, fiat money and the U.S. dollar. We'll share that with you next. $800-951-0592. Dow's now down 350. So we'll probably have some interesting moments here over the next couple of days. Gold and silver is just flat, you know. Right now, gold's off 40 cents, and silver is down 2 cents. So hanging in there pretty well, but I think Goldman's probably got it right. I think any dip is going to be bought, and I think bought pretty hard here. But Judy Shelton, which gave me a lot of hope the first time around with Trump. And then, people had meetings, this, that, the other, and said, no, you can't have her. She, we've got this debt money system that we like. Well, like I said, she grew up under Volcker and Greenspan. One of the things she shared is Paul Volcker. Right now, remember, Paul, for those of you who don't know, who's Paul Volcker? He was head of the Fed and he replaced Arthur Burns, who allowed for massive inflation to occur. And has been given credit for stamping out inflation by bringing interest rates up to over 20%, right? That's Paul Volcker. By the way, he was also a cheerleader when Nixon closed the gold window in 1971. He was a big proponent of that. But what Judy Shelton said is that Paul Volcker always believed that the United States would return to the original Bretton Woods system. And what he meant by that was we'll go back to where our treasuries are backed by gold. The dollar can stay the reserve currency because everybody knows if they buy our debt, they can always get gold instead of dollars again. According to Shelton, Jason, not only did Volcker believe that, Greenspan believed the exact same thing. Matter of fact, Alan Greenspan used to say it all the time, and then he stopped saying it, and now he's saying it again, right? That, hey, eventually we're going to have to go back to gold.
We'll see. Once again, whether we go back to gold or not, it's going to be bullish for gold because just a push to have to go back to gold is going to make people understand the importance of holding it. But President-elect Ronald Reagan was putting his cabinet together, and he had a couple of guys who are like, you know what? The Fed, we could be the Fed. Here's a computer program. It can do everything the Fed does. We don't need any of these people. Well, here's a computer program, and it'll do what it needs to be done to fix the economy, which means you program the computer, right, Joe? It's just going to do what it's programmed to do, right? How can you be corrupt in that situation? Who's going to have their fingers on the buttons? And he takes office and then gets shot, right, Joe? Remember that? Ronald Reagan, he took office, he got shot, and suddenly there was no more talk about having a computer program of running the Fed anymore. I get the feeling like a gold-backed money system is only going to be drug into America if it's the only option left. It's nice to talk about, right, Joe? It's nice to put it out there.
Well, and again, she also talked about a gold-backed stable coin, right? Saying, right, so essentially, hey, it's going to be digitized, but we're going to – and she was very, I think, adamant about what was important in all of this. It was almost like, listen, I'm not here to debate the need to back with gold. I'm here to tell you the most important thing is that we're first. And right now, I'm worried because I have a lot of respect for Judy Shelton. I think she's been a very, very smart woman for a very, very long time. One of the few people that would keep calling out the ridiculousness of this economic policy. And, of course, she talked about it. You know, who's to blame here? Listen, let's face it. Some of it's our elected officials, right, because they just keep voting to spend more money. A lot of it, though, you've got to put at the hands of the Fed. Listen, the most of all the Fed governors or Fed officials we've ever had, the worst one, I think, of all time will be Janet Yellen. She's going to be the one. She started the nonsense of zero. Fed funds rate of 0.1. Between 0 and 0.25. That was her. You know what she also did? 2% inflation. That was also her. Where did that come from? What economic textbook or theory did that come from? Nowhere. She just made it up. She just made it up. And they left it at 0 for 15 years. And then unleashed a tsunami of money on the world. That's why we're here. And my worry is, Jason, is the amount of ignorance. You know, because these people, they're highly, don't get me wrong, Janet Yellen, probably a genius of epic proportion. Probably, right? From what I'm told, she's written most of the economic textbooks of the world, and yet she doesn't follow any of them. If Shelton's right and we need to be first, oh boy, that's trouble. Because guess what? Right now, we're still not even admitting that we have the problem. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment when we get back. 800-951-0592. 5-ounce silver bars on sale today. 185 or 180, excuse me, 180. I'll say this. I think 5-ounce silver bars in 2025 will probably be somewhere around $250. That's just my guess. But $50 a piece. Maybe $275.
When in 2025? When in 2025?
Well, it could be the first quarter. It can be really fast here. I'm just saying silver is a little different because it's so far behind. Even though it's had a great year. What a year. It's been spectacular. You still need 80-some ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. Silver rounds. $740 on the gold side. $5 Liberties. This is a pretty good deal here. Save $20 today on a $5 Liberty. $765. So you got a couple of choices in the silver side. 5-ounce silver bars, $180. Silver rounds. Boy, you think we're going to see silver rounds at over $1,000? Wow. Probably, yeah. I hate to say it, but $740. $5 gold Liberties at $765. 800-951-0592. Right now, the Dow's down almost 400 points. The S&P's down 23. The Nasdaq's down almost 100 points. The 10-year note just doesn't want to go anywhere. 430. And Jason, we're going to get the election, right? Best case scenario, we know who wins. Next best case scenario, we know who wins by the end of the week. Of course, in between there, we're going to have a Fed meeting. We're supposed to get another rate. Are we going to get another rate cut and have the 10-year note go even higher?
I think so. It looks like it, doesn't it?
Well, it looks like it wants to, doesn't it? Sure. Well, I hope not. But God, that's what it feels like. The worst thing that could possibly, the worst scenario would be another rate cut, another 25 basis points. The 10-year note goes to 450. And we have election chaos, right? Where, oh, wait, so-and-so won. Wait, no, they didn't, right? And you got state flip-flopping. You got people going nuts and all that other stuff. Hopefully that isn't the case. But, Jason, right now I'd say it's probably a third. Probably got a 33% chance to know who's going to win tomorrow. 33% chance we'll know who won by the weekend, and a 33% chance that it's just mass pandemonium. The only thing I feel good about is I think there's probably an 80%, maybe even 90% chance that the Fed cuts rates on Thursday. I fully expect to see that.
We could end up in a situation later on that you have 9% or 10% mortgage rates, and the government gets to borrow at 1 or 2. How about that, Joe? That's the world we're looking at, because the government needs to have it cheap, so everybody else has to just shoulder that weight.
Jeff Gundlach says that's exactly what he thinks is going to happen. That's exactly what he thinks is going to happen. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're going to come right back with the half-empty cup. Stay with us.